Hey, welcome back to the podcast. It's your girl, Kelly Jackson, career strategist. I talk about all things careers and a little bit of life stuff. Just wanted to tap in, see how you're doing. It is May 2nd to be exact. What you got going on? What you doing in terms of elevating that career of yours, going to the next level, making that money, going to that next career level? What are you doing? What are you doing? Let's talk about it. Today, I was thinking, let's talk about exposure because this has come up a few times, and I just want to have a discussion around it. So let's talk about it. So one of the things that I often I did this actually before I knew what I was actually doing, and that is exposing myself to different things. And for me, it was just I like to learn different things. I think we all like to learn. I think you like to learn. I like to learn. And so one of the things that I exposed myself to, starting back in I guess the early 2000s, was traveling. And so I've traveled a lot extensively prior to the pandemic, and I would love to go into the towns of the countries that I visited just to see how they lived, how they communicated, how they lived. And so that was always interesting to me. I went to Egypt one time, and I went to this small rug or tapestry shop. It was a little bitty shop, just no big glitz or glam. It was just a little tucked away shop. And me and one of my friends that I was with, she wanted to go inside. So I don't have an interest in rugs and stuff like that. So I sat outside, kind of just, sat outside. And that's why she did that. And so I sat down and started looking on my phone, and there was these guys out there, and they were talking, and I just started to engage, right? Being a recruiter, it's easy for me to talk to anybody. So just start talking to the guys, and they asked me where I'm from, and I told them, and I'm like, well, you got to come visit. And I remember the guy said, he was like, yeah, I'd love to come to the US. And, he had his accent and everything. I'm like, well, why don't you come? And he was sharing that he couldn't come. And he went on to tell me that, they needed to have a certain amount of money in the bank in order to leave. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it was like 30 grand that they had to leave before the government would allow them to leave, and all these rules and things. And I remember leaving, and I never forgot that. And again, this was years ago, how privileged we are over here just to be able to go, have the freedom to go when we want to go. And so, I can tell all kinds of stories about being exposed to that type of information. And as it relates to careers and elevating and making more money and getting to that next level, exposure is key in, I guess, in the way of tapping into allies for yourself, people that can advocate on your behalf, or just seeing something different that you haven't been exposed to in the past. When I came to Atlanta for the first time in 1994, I walked into a Walmart, and I've told you the story before. If you're new to me, you may not have heard the story. And there was an African American man that was a manager at Walmart. Where I'm from, nobody that's African American had the title of a manager. When I saw it, it just kind of blew my mind. I was just like, oh my gosh, you the manager? And this was Walmart, okay? And so that stayed with me. Being exposed to that, I've been here now for 2.5 decades because I was exposed to that. I met someone that used to drive forklift, and this was a woman. She drove forklift all of her years, right? All of the years that she's been able to work, she drove forklift. That's what she knew how to do. That's what, she was good at, but she was tired. She couldn't get her nails done. She couldn't get lashes. She couldn't be girly. She had to wear steel-toe shoes. It was a warehouse full of men, and she had to wear the bright vest. And she just said, I can't get my hair done. They won't allow you to wear lashes because you got to wear the safety glasses. Can't wear nails because you're constantly lifting boxes. She said, my back is hurting. My body is coming out of alignment. And she said, I'm tired. I'm tired. I want to work remote, and I know people work remote right now. I want to dress up and be feminine, and I'm like, you can do that. You can absolutely do that. She said, well, I've been looking, I've been applying. I haven't gotten any type of roles. Everything I see is $14 or 13 or $12 an hour. And every time I go in Indeed or ZipRecruiter or here, and I said, well, have you looked on LinkedIn? She said, I don't know anything about LinkedIn and how to look for a job and how to, and so I showed her. And I said, here are the jobs. She said, well, how much do they pay? They don't say. And I said, well, these are salary roles. And I said, here's how you find out what the range is, what the salary range is for a particular role that you're interested in. So we start looking at customer service roles because everyone interacts with people. It's how you articulate it and how you share your value on your resume, how you tell how you are able to solve problems and provide solutions to company. Everybody deals with people. So I helped her to configure her resume. Not only is she now working in a corporate environment and so beside herself, I wish I could have recorded her as she got her equipment brought to her from UPS that they sent to her, that they shipped to her. And she called me every step of the way. She FaceTimed me and showed me the boxes that she received as she opened up the boxes. And I helped her put her computer together. And she told me about her first day. And she cried when she called me when she went through orientation. And she said, this is real. She said, it's a whole world out here. She said, I've been in labor and I've been working in warehouses all my life. She said, this is so different. She said, I got on a Zoom call and they wanted to know a fun fact about me. I had to introduce myself. She said, Kelly, I would have never known of this other world had I not been exposed. She said, every time I go on ZipRecruiter and Indeed, I would just look for the hourly rate. She said, I didn't know that there was other jobs out there that I could qualify for. So when you get exposure to something, it opens up your life, it opens up your mind. But you'll never get this if you don't allow yourself to go and find it, to seek it out. If you find yourself in a box, if you feel stuck, if you feel like there's nothing else, it's because you haven't allowed yourself the exposure to other things. It's a whole world outside of where you are right now. When I got into business, do you know how many things that just constantly, consistently, literally I'm in awe. And it's only because I've been exposed to it. I had to fly to Atlanta. I had to get rooms. I had to pay for food. I had to invest to come down to Atlanta just to see that one simple thing, a Black man working as a manager in Walmart. Literally changed my life. This young lady had to reach out and say, hey, I ain't finding anything. I want to make more than $14 an hour. So being exposed to a professional platform where she had never even touched before. She didn't know how to search for a job on LinkedIn. Someone was made fun of because they paid $25,000 to get exposure to a certain some celebrities, and because of the person getting this exposure, they now have a connection to opportunities they would have never had before. My point and my passion around this is that we limit ourselves. You and I are the main cause of why we're not where we want to be. When we stay inside of this box, because we have a sense of security, we don't want to move because our health insurance is so good and the company pays 80% of the premium. My 401k has been sitting there for 11 years and I'm almost fully vested and I have to stay there. Do you really know what happens with 401k? Do you know that the company and the plan are in cahoots together to get a percentage of your money? That's another episode, but look it up. There's so much more outside of where you are if you will allow yourself. You have to allow yourself to get the exposure, to change your mind, because it's a mindset that we've all been conditioned to have. And they know that they have to keep us within a certain box, because if we get out that box, if we really know the truth, we'd be dangerous. We create our own life, our own paths. We make the money that we want to have. But because we want that sense of security, and uncertainty is too scary, we won't do it. We'd rather live mediocre lives. We'd rather watch and scroll the gram and scroll on Facebook and watch everybody else get theirs and wonder why and hate on them. But they decided to get out the freaking box. The one thing you'll never get back is time. You won't get it back. You can get money all day. But if you don't take the time to go for it, one thing you're going to do, because everybody does it, when you get old enough and you can't go for yours, you're going to look back and wish you had of. This episode is about you getting out that freaking box, gaining exposure, investing in yourself, getting out there. There's uncertainty with everything. It's called faith. But one thing I know, and I know this for sure, that everything you want is outside of that freaking box. I'll see you on the next episode.